It's okay. Wait.
Audience can see you.
Sorry. I'll take it. Put it in the PowerPoint mode. I'm sincerely seeking the blessings of all the devotees present here and everywhere, and my Gurudev to be able to speak something of value. Welcome everyone for sparing your most valuable time on this most special day of Valentine's Day to hear something which is of immense value. So, you know what's the topic today? Soulmates forever. I changed it slightly because currently something is very famous, PK. So my topic is PK, an alien or a soulmate. Okay? The connection. Projector system. Yeah. This is on. The projector is on. Okay. Sorry. You know the Murphy's Law? You know what is Murphy's Law? If something has to go wrong, it will go wrong. So I have already delayed much of the time, and then we have to wait again for some 2-3 minutes. Kindly excuse us. Okay. Who has seen the movie PK? You liked it? No. Okay. Some have liked it, some have not liked it. PK, there are two concepts in the movie. PK is an alien, right? And towards the end of the movie, you will realize that he's become a soulmate of the lead actress, right? So here we are again trying to analyze PK, whether he's an alien or a soulmate, right? So we can begin now. Next. Alien, if you technically go by the definition, alien is something which refers to the extraterrestrial life, something which has not originated from what we know of, the earth. Alien, it also means someone from another country. So like if you have defined your boundaries, even your neighbor can be an alien. And if you have not defined your boundaries, everyone is your friend, right? And again, if you go by the technical definition of a soulmate, next. Okay, before that, how many of us have attended school? All of us, right? So what does a classmate mean? Someone who's in the class with us, right? And a roommate, someone who shares the room with us. And an office mate, someone who we work with. So we see that over the span of time, we develop a deep relationship with whoever we are working with, studying with, or sharing our room with, right? So then what would a soulmate mean? Any idea? You should all have an idea. You belong to that age group. A soulmate? Anyone? Come on. One who can touch our hearts. Very nice. But life partner? Yes. Reveal our heart? Yes. One who we can share our lives with, right? So let's go by the dictionary definition. A soulmate is a person with whom we have a feeling of deep affection or intimacy, right? It may mean any connection in terms of friendship, sharing our hearts, intimacy, trust. It also involves the concept of spirituality, right? And it is commonly accepted that when we meet our soulmate, we become complete. When we unite with our soulmate, we become complete. Otherwise, we are half, okay? So like in marriages, they say the better half. Of course, we are the better half, the women. We are always the better half. Next. So this is the movie PK, just a poster of it. PK in the movie, as we said, was an alien who later became a soulmate. Which part of PK would we identify with most? The alien part or the soulmate part? Probably the soulmate part, because that's what is close to our heart. That's what really touches the core of our heart, right? Next. Now here, before we introduce our PK, I want to speak of some miscommunication which we have. Have you had any experience with some call, some inner call, which is calling, which is shrieking, which is yelling, and yet we pay a deaf ear to it? We pay a deaf ear, and it becomes a missed call. Something we have to do, it shouts. First it just murmurs, then it speaks, then it shouts, and then yet we don't hear it, right? And then it becomes a missed call. You have such experiences? When you have to decide between right and wrong, truth and bad, I mean good or bad, right? So that's a missed call. Actually, it's not a missed call. होता है ना, हम जब स्कूल में, कॉलेज में जब होते हैं तो फ्रेंड्स बोलते हैं कि यार मैंने कितने बार फ़ोन किया तुझे. हम कहते हैं नहीं यार वो तो मिस्ड कॉल था. अरे पागल, मिस्ड कॉल नहीं था, मैं तुमको कॉल कर रही थी, तुमने उठाया नहीं, इसलिए मिस्ड कॉल हुआ. Similarly, God also sends us missed calls. He keeps calling. What is MTNL? Maharashtra Telephone Nigam Limited, also translated as मेरा टेलीफोन नहीं लगता. And God, on the other hand, He is saying, MTNL नहीं है, ये TTNL है, तेरा टेलीफोन नहीं लगता. He is calling, 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 and we just, least bother to hear it. So that is TTNL, God's line. He keeps sending messages to us, and we see them just as blank messages we are not able to interpret. He keeps sending mails to our inbox, and we just discard them in our trash box. That means He's trying to communicate with us, and somehow we are not able to get through. Many times we say that we make decisions from the heart, not from the head, right? We want to make decisions from the heart because that's what is important. So then, who's the one sitting in the heart who is helping us to make decisions? There's someone might be sitting there, right? Who's helping us to make decisions which we can rely upon. So we have to see who that person is. Yeah, next. We'll just take an example. Suppose you want to understand what is sun. What is a sun disk, okay? You can either understand it through the rays which come into your room, right? The sun rays which enter your room and you say, okay, the sun has risen. Next. Or you can see it as a star, the solar system, the center of the solar system, where all the planets are revolving around it, yeah? Or you can see it as the sun god or the sun Surya Dev, who's the controller of that disk, right? So just as the sun can be understood in three aspects, the sun rays, the sun disk or the sun star, and the sun god within it, right? Similarly, if you have to understand God, there are three aspects to Him. What are they? Next. 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 Yeah. The Brahman feature, it's like the effulgence of the Lord, okay? It is all pervading aspect. It is present everywhere. The next is the Paramatma feature, which is a localized aspect. Just like the sun planet is localized, the Lord, He enters our hearts, all of our hearts, and He is called as the Paramatma, right? And then the Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a person whom we can relate to, he is called Bhagavan. Okay? So now, there's a trick here, there's a catch here. Our PK, whom we are discussing is, next, Parameshwar Krishna. Whether he is going to be an alien or a soulmate. Okay? So we have to analyze whether Parameshwar Krishna is an alien whom we don't know at all, or whether he is a true soulmate. So let's go step by step to analyze and understand what category he fits into. Okay? Next. The Bhagavad-Gita in chapter 13 explains that the Lord is seated within our hearts. Within our heart is the soul, the living entity, right? Next to the soul is the Lord sitting, okay? They are like two birds on a tree. One bird is busy eating, mating, defending, protecting himself, and going all around the world, coming back to the tree. And the other bird, which is sitting next to it, is the super soul, which is just watching at the bird doing everything, and is just waiting when that bird will turn to him. Okay? So that's the soul and the super soul represented by the two birds. So now, logistically, if you understand, the Lord is our soulmate, right? He's sitting just next to our soul. He's a soulmate. But then we want to understand it technically and scientifically. Is he a soulmate or is he an alien? Next. Again, going back to the poster. PK was an alien who turned a soulmate, right, in the movie. Now, how do we understand these aliens? Do we have scientific proofs to explain the concept of aliens? Yes, very absurd. Like example, the scientists say they have discovered something called as a dragon particle, which is conclusive evidence of the proof of existence of life on other planets. Are you interested to see that dragon particle? Next. That gray one, that's the dragon particle. Can you, even by the widest of your range of understanding, get some idea that this could be the source of life on some other planets? Pretty hard to believe. But the scientists say that, and we believe it. Okay? Next. Next. Niche. In the movie, PK has a concept where he holds people's hands and he can understand what's there in the people's mind, what they know of, how they can behave, all these things. If a normal alien or an abnormal alien who we don't even know exists can do this by touching hands or shaking hands, cannot God do something like this where he can understand us? He can do, right? For that matter, God doesn't even have to touch us. Just by our presence, just by our thought, he will understand who we are. In fact, it is said that God knows us better than we know ourselves. Okay? If you have to know a person, you have to understand what he does when he is alone. And even if the world can't see, God will be seeing. Okay? That's his character, and that's how God can pervade everywhere. Okay? Next. Why is he an alien to us? Why is God an alien to us? Probably because we have never tried to understand him. We have never really tried to connect to him. That's why he remains an alien for us, right? If we have been taught scientifically, or if we have been taught with scriptural analysis and evidences that God exists and these are the features, these are the characteristics, then probably most of us would not be atheists, right? Just because we have not been systematically taught, we say that God is someone who we don't know and he remains an alien to us. So we have tried to try to understand what he is actually. Next. Okay, PK again gives a concept called wrong number. Wrong number. He says, if you go to temples or churches or mosques and you're not able to connect to God because it's a wrong number. Next. What do you do when you have a wrong number? Suppose you have a friend's number, you dial the number, the other end says it's a wrong number. What do you do in this case? You refer to the telephone dictionary, right? Directory, right? And you look into the directory, go by the name, you get the right number, you call the person, you are able to maintain manage a connection, right? Similarly, if we have to know God, we have to have the right number. If there are a set of wrong numbers, doesn't mean that there's no right number. We have to find out that right number. And what is that right number? all scriptures will explain that this right number is the holy name of the Lord, by which just when you utter the holy name, you can directly have a connection with the Lord. Okay? And not just in our scriptures, Vedic scriptures, all religions. Have you seen Muslims, when they are traveling in the train, they will be chanting on their beads. The Christians, next, they will be chanting on their rosary. So even Vedic Dharma, it says that we should always remember the Lord by chanting and remembering the holy name of the Lord. Okay? So it's not just one religion, all the religion, throughout the universe, it is said that we should remember the God, remember Lord by chanting His holy names. That's the holy name. You all know, you have chanted Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Next. What about the messengers of God? Are they fake? Again, the movie says that the messengers of God are fake. They don't help you establish a right connection, and they're just deviating you from the main goal. So next. Okay, let's take example of a doctor. I am a doctor, so I would like to take this example. In the market, there are so many doctors, right? जैसे कि आजकल हम बच्चों को बोलते हैं डॉक्टरी मत करो. क्यों मत करो? क्योंकि हर नुक्कड़ पे डॉक्टर्स की दुकान है. जैसे चने वाले की दुकान होती है, वैसे डॉक्टर्स की दुकान है. एलोपैथी, होम्योपैथी, all pathies. Okay? So don't become a doctor. That's what we are advising the younger generation, just for a joke. So now, there may be some true doctors, there may be some fake doctors who are exploiting people just to fill their pockets. You know, they'll give so much pain, so many investigations, so many things to be carried out, so prolonged admissions to the hospitals just so that the doctor earns a huge, lump sum of money in his pocket. Okay? There may be other doctors who want to genuinely, practice their profession and treat the unhealthy. And there may be some others who are just doing it as a social service. I just want this minimum amount of money, the rest I just want to, do social service. So amongst that, doctors themselves, there are so many categories. You have the good doctors and the bad doctors. Is it not possible that the messengers of God, so-called messengers, the fake messengers, they may be few in number, but they are also people, they are also messengers who genuinely want to convey the message of God to others. And there are others who have come just to do this without any ulterior motive. Is it possible? Possible, right? So if you just see a bunch of fake messengers, doesn't mean that everyone is a fake messenger. Okay? We have to try to search for the true messenger, and they exist. Only that we have to expand our horizon and then look out for the true messengers. Next. Okay, another example. You all are studying in colleges or maybe have finished your college. How do you get a degree? You have to go to a university. Next. Proper university, that's the Mumbai University for all of us. You have to go to the authorized teachers. You have to refer to the authorized books, right? Only then you will get your proper degree, right? So you have to have a combination of all these factors, the university, the teachers, the books, right? So that you can get your degree. Srila Prabhupada, who's our founder Acharya, he said, similarly, for understanding scriptural knowledge or knowledge about connecting to God, we need temples where we just don't go to, put some donation and ek bar, do bar, bal bajao, and then ask for something and you are, fulfilled with your desire. No. He said the temples are meant to be universities. For that matter, I found one place which is called as the Temple University. Anyway, we have our university, that is Mayapur Institute of Higher Education. So these are temples like this one, which are meant to educate people about God and their connection to God. So they are actual bona fide universities, not just temples for the name's sake, right? And then we also have to refer to our scriptures. Okay, next. These are the scriptures which we have to refer, the Bhagavad-Gita, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata. This child there, at a young age, he is reading the Bhagavad-Gita. Can't we do that? In fact, he is saying, reading scriptures is more easier than eating a pie. If that child can say, so can we. Only if we make the attempt to go to the scriptures and read, right? And we have to refer to our teachers, the acharyas. The word acharya by itself, it means one who teaches by example, acharan. So one who teaches by example is an acharya. So there have been so many acharyas like Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Sant Tukaram from Maharashtra, our own Srila Prabhupada, who are acharyas, and they are teaching us how to follow the spirituality in our lives. And then, when you go to the proper university, the proper temples, when you have the bona fide teachers, the acharyas, when you have the proper scriptures, then you will be qualified to get the graduation degree or the post-graduation degree from the scriptural institutes, right? Spiritual institutes. Okay. PK says we need to pay some fees to be able to connect with God. Do you think we have to pay some fees? Well, we think probably it must be a hefty sum of money that you have to give so that God can be pleased. Okay? So it says caution, high fees ahead. But actually God says no fees. Then what is the fees? What is he looking for? He's just looking for our faith. Next. Example, if you have to prove something, like whether you take geometry, the formulae, the hypothesis, or whether you look for scientific things, you always start with a hypothesis. A hypothesis is a blind statement which at the end of your study you either prove or disprove. Hypothesis, for that matter, mind you, is a blind faith. Only if you can prove it, it proves corrected. If you can't, it's rejected. If even for science, we have to have blind statements or statements in which we have to invest our blind faith, can we not begin with a small iota of faith in the scriptures and the spirituality so that then we can gradually go ahead and understand or not understand? Right? So faith is a very, very important ingredient to at least begin with. If there is a child and the father is playing with the child, you see many times, even in our childhood maybe, our father, he would just throw us up in the air and then we would be laughing and giggling. Weren't we afraid that we will fall down? No, we had complete faith that my father will pick me back or he'll hold me properly, right? So in fact, the higher he throws us, the more laughs we would get, knowing fully that we are secure in our Father's hands. Similarly, the Lord, He will test us, but be sure He'll be there at the end of it to catch us, okay? And this faith, which you begin with, is the most important criteria to cross over the biggest hurdles in life, right? To cross over the huge mountains. So faith has to be there to begin with so that we can advance ahead. Okay, but the problem with us is we have very, very feeble faith. Our faith is very cheating. It's a very cheating mentality type. To explain this, I'll share a joke with you. Once this person, he was, trying so many lottery tickets, but somehow he would not just, the luck would never click. Then his wife said, okay, why don't you go to this particular temple, pray sincerely, and then probably your luck will be, shining bright upon you. So this person says, okay, he goes to the temple, and then he makes a very big deal. He says, my dear Lord, if you are able to help me with this 1 crore lottery, I promise you, I'll give you 50% of this lottery. Lord says, okay. So then after a few days, the lottery is announced, and this person, lo and behold, he wins the lottery. What's the amount? 50 lakhs. Good enough. 1 crore ki jape 50 lakhs to mil gaya na. So then the wife reminds him, chalo chalo aapko jana hai. You promised 50%, right, to the Lord. Please go and give him 25 lakhs. What does the husband say? Wait. Don't you know? Your Lord is so smart. He has already kept his 50 lakhs with him. So this is our cheating mentality. For everything, we have to have a justification. This person has got 50 lakhs, but he doesn't want to part with his 50%. He's making God the cheater and saying he's already kept his 50 lakhs with him. That's the problem. Even for that matter, when we spoke of the university, when you go onto the streets and you ask any person, भैया मुझे biological clock के बारे में बता सकते हो? That person will say, sorry yaar, you have to go to a doctor. Okay, then you say, okay, can you tell me about a Richter scale? Some other person will say, yaar, sorry, maaf karna, you have to go to a geologist. So on and so forth. But you ask any nukkad ka paan wala, can you tell me about God? And every panwala, every chaprasi will say, yes, yes, I am the authority, I'll speak. Right? So every person thinks himself to be an authority without any knowledge of the scriptures, without any knowledge of the true facts, and is there, right there, ready to give a lecture on the entire topic of who's God. So that's our misfortune. Next. You have to believe in God, because there are some answers which even Google can't answer. Right? Next. So our interest in God can be due to these factors. Either we are fearing God, that means either we are fearful of the concept of God, so we want to worship Him so that He doesn't, shower us with troubles. Or we have some desires which we want the Lord to fulfill, so we go to Him. Okay, jaise ye lottery wala, ye kar do, to I'll, worship you. Or the Lord has fulfilled our desires, and out of a sense of duty, we go to pray to Him, right? But the best part is if you can love God out of your love, right? Not because of fear or duty or desire. Just if you want to love God because you want to love God. That's the highest, right? Next. Okay. Out of fear. There was this old man who had to be operated for a major surgery, okay? And the surgeon happened to be his son-in-law. So the son-in-law says, Father, are you not afraid that you are being operated upon such a major surgery? What does the father-in-law say? No, I am not fearful. You should be fearful. So this person is shocked. What does he mean to say? He says, look, if the surgery is successful, very good. I'll be happy, you will be happy. If the surgery is not, beware. My wife is going to come and stay with you for your entire life. So then the father, son-in-law is like, okay, I have to do the surgery to my best. I don't want, already एक daughter है, उसकी माँ नहीं चाहिए मुझे घर पे. So he's careful. So we don't want to love God out of fear. We want to love God out of love. This should be established by our prayers to God, a sincere prayers, right? We had a lecture called as email to Nemail. Nemail is prayers, right? In fact, for that matter, God doesn't even want us to bend on our knees. He just wants a sincere cry from the innermost core of your heart, of our hearts, and He'll listen, right? And we want the association of those who love God. If you associate with those who love God, you will definitely develop that love of God. Like example, if someone has to become a drunkard, they have to go to the best bar, right? And then the bar will give all the facilities to become the best drunkard, right? Have you heard of this song? मुझे दुनिया वालों शराबी न समझो, मैं पीता नहीं हूँ, पिलाई गई है. No? Maybe I'll have to sing it. मुझे दुनिया वालों शराबी न समझो. It's an old song. मैं पीता नहीं हूँ, पिलाई गई है. That means he's saying that I'm not a drunkard by nature. The world has, forced me to drink this liquor. So similarly, when we are starting to develop our faith in God, there will be many around us who are drunkards, material drunkards, not actually drinking liquor, but they are so much engrossed in their material life that they'll say, "Arey ye ek ghoot le le." But it is our faith that we say no, and we continue with our spiritual practices, right? Because if you are swayed by them, gradually you will become a material drunkard. But if you want to become spiritual drunkards, then maybe you have to come to programs like this, make friendship with those who are trying to come for such programs, and then you will become spiritual drunkards. So where God is with you throughout, and no one can affect you, inside or outside, right? So you can write a mail to the Lord from wherever you are, however you are, and God, everywhere He is there, He is everywhere within the universe, and He'll receive your mail, right? So that has to be the connection which has to be developed. Next. What is the receipt? PK says, मैंने फीस भरा है, मेरा receipt कहाँ है? Yeah, we want a receipt. मैंने भगवान को pray किया, मेरे receipt कहाँ है? छप्पा कहाँ है? So that I know that God is going to answer my prayers. This receipt says paid. So the Lord also definitely pays our prayers, pays the offering that we have given through His reciprocation. He reciprocates to every little act of devotion which you do towards Him. Okay? Next. So what is His reciprocation? Just like this story, there was this couple who was in a ship, huge ship, and there was a huge storm, and this Storm was about to just engulf the ship. The wife says, "Do something, please protect me." And the husband immediately takes out his sword. Or for that matter, in our case, he immediately draws out his gun. The wife says, "Kya hua?" And she starts laughing. Husband says, "Are you not afraid? तुम मुझे बचाने के लिए कह रहे हो, मैं अपनी बंदूक निकाल रहा हूँ." Wife says, "Why should I fear you? I know you will always protect me." So then the husband says, "Similarly, I have faith in the Lord. Why should I fear? If He wants to save us, we will be saved. And if He wants to drown us, no matter, that's probably the best for us. So just like you have faith in me that I will not kill you with this bullet or with this gun, I have a similar faith in the Lord that He will not do anything which is not right for me." Right? Next. I saw this car on Pedder Road just 1 week back, जिसके पीछे के glass पे लिखा हुआ था, "We miss you, our dear son Yash." When I saw this, it was really, really painful for me, because this family or this person, he or she misses the son so much that they are proclaiming it on the rear glass of the car. That means they are so much in pain, they want to share it probably just by putting that sticker there. If a normal parent, a mortal soul, can feel so much bereavement from the son, doesn't God feel that for us? He's actually, you say He's giving missed calls, actually He's always missing us. He's so much missing us, He just wants us to turn to Him so that we can develop a connection with Him. That's the Lord has so much feelings of missing us. Somehow He's trying to communicate to us. When a child goes to suppose a child wants a cigarette, okay, and he goes to the shop and he says, "Bhaiya, ye 2 rupees do, mujhe cigarette do." What will the shopkeeper do? Give him the cigarette, right? Suppose the same child goes to the father, "Papa, mujhe cigarette pini hai." What will the father do? Fatak. He will just give him a tight slap on his cheeks. Why? The father knows that the cigarette is not good for the child. The shopkeeper knows, yeah, he knows, but he wants money. So a real father will not provide the cigarette. Similarly, the Lord, He will just fulfill our needs, not our wants. We may ask so many things, but whatever are our genuine needs, the Lord will fulfill. And those which are just our wants, like mobiles and fancy clothes, maybe He will not fulfill, or maybe He will fulfill if it's required. So we have to have that faith. He protects us personally. Again, there's a story of Akbar Birbal. Maybe if we have time, I'll tell that story, or I'll share 2 more stories. The Lord doesn't send some messengers to protect us. He may do that, but actually every time He comes personally. I'll explain this with 2 beautiful stories. Once what happened is, there was this couple, a very devoted couple, and the father had been off to work, and they had a small child, 2 or 3-year-old child. Somehow the mother was busy in the kitchen, and the child, while playing in the balcony, just slipped off. From the 4th floor, he slipped off onto the roadside. Immediately, the mother understood something is wrong, and she just started praying that, "My dear Lord, please protect my child." And when she went down to pick up the child, from the 4th floor she came down, and she saw that there was no single injury, there was no fracture of any kind, no swelling, and the child was just laughing. The mother was, surprised. And then she was just opening the clothes and trying to see what happened. And then she saw some scratch marks on the back. Then she understood. Actually, they were devotees of Lord Narasimhadev. This is a true story. They were devotees of Lord Narasimhadev. Narasimhadev, if you know, he's a form of the Lord who's half man and half lion. So with his claws, Lord Narasimhadev had protected the child, and you could see as a proof his claw marks on the child's back. Similarly, there's one more story of how this girl would regularly come for devotional programs. And one day there was some festival, so this girl got delayed. Like say every day if she was to leave at 8:30, this day it became almost 9. So she was going by a side alley, which generally she wouldn't take that path. But just because it had become late that day, she took that side path. And she was going, and she was all the while praying that, "My dear Lord, please protect me." She came off, almost 3-4 minutes, she walked through the lane and came off, and she was safe. The next day when she got up and she opened the papers, to her utter surprise, again this is a true story, she read in the main headlines the same alley where she had passed through, exactly 5 minutes later, there was a case of 2 ruffians molesting a young girl. She was too scared. She reported to the police, how could this have happened? You know, I passed that alley just 5 minutes back and nothing happened to me. So this person, the police, they couldn't understand. And later, when they found out the ruffians, when they arrested them, they asked them the same question. How come that, you know, just 5 minutes back, a girl who had passed and nothing happened to her, and, you know, the next girl came and then you just took advantage of her? These men, the ruffians, the gundas, what did they say? And this is in some Western country, it's not in India. The ruffians, the gundas, they said, we dare go near her. We saw she was protected by 2 men on her either side. One, a white bodybuilder, and the other, a black bodybuilder, so strong and hefty. This lady was a devotee of Lord Jagannath. So actually, Jagannath and Baldev came to protect her. And this is again, as I am telling, a true story. So Lord Narsingadev protected the child because the parents were devotees of Narsingadev. This girl was a devotee of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, and Jagannath and Baldev actually came as bodybuilders, or, you know, what do you call them? Bodyguards, to protect this lady. And she escaped unscathed. Next. Next. Similarly, also his messengers. Sometimes the Lord sends his messengers to protect us, and they will take full care of us. There's one more story, of a Tibetan story, which explains about the king and his 4 wives. The king had 4 wives. The first wife was very beautiful, and the king would always decorate it, right? The second wife, the king would always take great pleasure in showing that wife to others. Look, my wife is so beautiful, she is so wonderful, right? The third wife, she was someone who the king would always consider to, take advice from. And the fourth wife, he was totally neglected, okay? When the king was about to die, he called all of his wives because he was feeling so much pain. He asked each of his wives, would you come with me? He asked the first wife, will you come with me? What did the first wife say? Not at all. That put the king thoroughly, it was put off, you know. So then he asked the second wife, will you please come to me? And this was a wife who he was always showing to others. She said, no, in fact, as soon as you go off, I'll remarry. Then the third wife, he said, will you accompany me when I leave this body? She said, yeah, maybe till your grave, and then no longer. And then came a voice, I will come with you. So the king turned aside and he said, who is she? And this was the fourth wife, who was utterly neglected but wanted to go with the king wherever he went. So now, actually we all have 4 wives. What are they? Our body. First is our body, whom we thoroughly decorate. And then what happens at the death? It is not going to come with us. The second wife, our possessions, our mobiles, our hairstyle, our friends, our beautiful bags, our clothes, which we want to show off to people, right? As soon as we are dead, what will happen? Maybe our sisters will take it, our brothers will take it. So as soon as we go, it will be taken off by others. It's a remarriage. The third wife, whom we take advice from, they are our relatives and friends. They will accompany us maybe till the graveyard, not beyond that, right? And the fourth wife, whom we have always neglected, always are neglecting, is our soul. This soul, no matter what happens, it will accompany us from one body to the other, and forever. And with the soul, who will come with us? The super soul, the Paramatma, right? Whatever species of life we enter, God is going to be there with us, right? Next. This is a beautiful poem. If you have heard of, very good. I'll just read it out for you. Beautiful. It says footprints on the sands of time. So I'll just read it out. One night, a man had a dream. He dreamed he was walking along the beach with the Lord. Across the sky flashed scenes from his life. For each scene, he noticed 2 sets of footprints in the sand, one belonging to him and the other to the Lord. When the last scene of his life flashed before him, he looked back at the footprints in the sand. He noticed that many times along the path of his life, there was only 1 set of footprints. He also noticed that it happened at the very lowest and saddest times of life. That means he noticed that whenever he was most sad, there was only 1 set of footprints. So this created some doubts in his mind. He said, this really bothered him and he questioned the Lord about it. Lord, you said that once I decided to follow you, you would walk with me all the way. But I have noticed that during the most troublesome times of my life, there's only one set of footprints. I don't understand why, when I needed you the most, you would leave me. The Lord replied, my daughter, my precious child, I love you and I would never leave you. During your times of trial and suffering, when you see only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. Right? So, and he noticed that whenever those one set of footprints were there, it was a bit deeper, because the Lord was carrying this heavily burdened soul in his arms and helping him cross. Next. The great thing to remember is that though our feelings come and go, God's love is always there. Next. These are some beautiful clippings which I wanted to share. Beautiful one. It says, I can't brag about my love for God because I fail him daily. But I can brag about God's love for me because it never fails. The next one. Again, beautiful one. It says, you have nothing until you are in a relationship with the one who created everything. That is the Lord. So today on Valentine's Day, maybe we can try to develop a relationship with this person who has created everything, including us. Next. This is again beautiful. You know, Valentine's Day, where we celebrate a relationship between a man and a woman, a girl and a boy, it says, for that matter, even marriage isn't for me, it's for the Lord. It's for my spouse to see and experience God's love through me, and it's for the world to see and experience God's love through the love in our marriage. Without the love of God infusing our lives, it is impossible for us to love anyone else. So the very fact that we love someone else means that we are being infused with God's love. And is it not our duty to share that love with others and develop a greater connection with that source of love? This we can skip. Next. The best one. You know, we all come to know God or try to develop a relationship with God at a particular time, when the time comes or when we have a desire. So it says, whatever your lifestyle may have been, understand one thing. The moment you are affected by love, the moment devotion has risen in you, that is the path you must follow. And love is the right decision. Right? So with this, I end my talk. Now it is up for you to decide whether PK, Parameshwar Krishna, is an alien or a soulmate. If you keep away from him, he'll continue to be an elusive alien. If you try to develop a connection with him, maybe he will become your closest soulmate. I also want to thank Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, from whose books and writings have gained some concept for this lecture. You all can visit this site, thespiritualscientist.com, which has beautiful questions so many of us have, and you know, explained in a very beautiful ways. Thank you. There was a picture of the heart there, but okay, yeah. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, maybe we can meet at the end of this lecture, because we are already getting delayed. Akshata has to make a small announcement, important announcements, and then we'll have a short kirtan. Thank you so much.